I was wondering, how did you feel about that when it comes to the level of support that you get, not just from the industry, people rock with you from that standpoint, but even from a consumer base when it comes to supporting your endeavors like the club? I mean, I guess you can even talk a little bit about that, because we want people to know about the club, because it's something that you're doing, that you're keeping comedy fresh, relevant, and alive in the city of Chicago.
And that is the whole motivating force behind it, because Riddles Comedy Club in Alsip, first of all, it's a long-standing traditional name from the club standpoint. They've been around since 1990. The original owner, Ken, he was the one who asked me to do it, because I didn't buy the club, but I curate the shows on the weekends.
Okay.
I don't want the day stress without, the overhead and all of that of owning a club at this point, because I'm still actively pursuing my career on the road.
Right.
And if you got a cash business and you run a business, you need to be at that business.
Yeah, you do.
I learned that from my Subway.
Trust me.
So, but I felt like it was important to have not only a home base for myself to work out and get in the lab, but also for comics that don't get into the improvs and the funny bones around the country. They're not recognized by the mainstream corporate, they don't have the whole agent that's going to get them in these doors, because sometimes the guy don't even be talented or famous, but if he's with an agent that represents an A-list artist, they will barter. Look, if you want my guy, you got to use this guy, you know. Well, that marginalizes a lot of us. And these are people from the Comic View Def Jam era. So I keep it grown. I've been incorporating the younger ones. So that's why I met the corporates and the young lady I got Memorial Weekend, which whenever they see this, it don't matter. She's a social media comic, but she's been very diligent. She goes by my cousin Tierra. So I'm meeting the new ones, and I always want to have a gateway and a place where I can keep my finger on the pulse of the up and comers, because the 1 minute you're up and comer, and the next minute you're T Murph, and T Murph is on a TV show and blah blah blah. And he was just a little guy. Then he hit a lick. T Murph, Lorel was D-Ray's protege, and D-Ray was my protege. Right. So and now Lorel is an A-list movie star, what I'm saying? But you wouldn't have met him if you shunned him, like, that little dude, Right. And so you gotta embrace that.
And so he was super humble too. Because he was the opener for Russell at the Chicago Theater.
Wow.
And he was just chilling.
That's funny.
When I say he was chilling, they had a whole spread downstairs, and we just down there hanging out, man. And he wasn't really in the mix or bothering folks. You could tell he was locked in.
Yeah, in his own.
Because he already probably saw himself and had a vision of I'm about to kill it. And that was fly, because everybody was there. Katy, what was it? Not Katy Perry.
Wait, what's her name?
I forgot her name.
Lovato.
Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato. And
Russell bring people out.
Yeah, definitely. The cats came out and they were just there hanging, just down there eating chicken with everybody else type deal. And
so, Chicago, we being Midwesterners, man, and being raised, he's from the West Side, Little Rail, South Side, we all come from humble beginnings. Steve, he kind of was doing well when he was a kid.
No.
His father, I saw your father. Didn't your father work at City Hall? Wasn't he a commissioner?
Yeah, he became commissioner,
Yeah, so I knew your pops.
But he still made us do our own thing.
I know. I heard you tell about how you couldn't stay out late and couldn't go to such stuff. Yeah.
But he didn't spoil us like that.
I'm joking, bro. Straight up. You come from the stock. But that makes you who you are. That's what I'm trying to say. We're humble people.
Right.
And the only thing I say, when people make it, it just magnifies who the person was to begin with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're an asshole in the beginning, you're going to be a bigger asshole.
Yeah, but that's a good point about the up and coming ones, because when I was younger, when we were first pioneering house music, a lot of those younger guys were in the front row when I'm DJing, and they're like the ones who getting everybody else in the party fired up, and they end up being the DJs of future, the
next
KLXs and the Hulas and the Maurice Joshua's.
Nice.